Welcome back to HLN Now. The scene unthinkable, the number very high right now as rescue efforts are underway after a mudslide in the state of Washington. This is in Oso. It's near Seattle, about an hour away. 108 names on the list of those missing and unaccounted for. Now, that number is expected to go down. But here's what we know at this point. This mudslide hit Saturday morning, 55 miles northeast of Seattle to be exact. 8 people killed, several in critical condition, including an infant. 30 homes destroyed. A quote here, the situation is grim. And you take a look at this scene here, before and after images. You see the greenery in place, looks very nice. And then the after, again, mud, muck, just called a soupy mess, a wall of mud and debris, some places 15 feet deep. That's where we find our own George Howell as we get you to that Washington State location. What's the latest on the search, George?
Well, Mike, you know, we are about 20 minutes away from that area of the landslide. It's about 20 minutes to our east. We can't get over there because really the land is just so unstable. We do know, though, that the search continues today by air. They have aircraft out there. They have people on the ground with electronic equipment to probe the ground, to look for people. And also they have search and rescue dogs out there, along with heavy machinery, equipment to move the mud. We understand the Department of Transportation is on the scene as well. Here's the thing, though. We learned today that the number of missing and unaccounted for has risen significantly. As you mentioned, that number 108. I do want to explain that because we're talking about 108 identities. So this could be a person who says, hey, Neil, I'm making up a name, Neil, I haven't seen him in a few days. That could be an identity that they look into. Vague names, also any reports that have been out over Twitter, social media. They're looking into all of that to try to see if they can narrow down that number 108. That's the new information we learned today, but it's just quite an operation out here as they want to keep up hope.
Yeah, and good clarification on that number. And again, we hope it continues to drop. Obviously significantly. How challenging, though, is a rescue when we're talking about 15 feet of a muddy, soupy mess in some places?
Oh, yeah. Well, and you hit it right there. You know, when you get into that area, you're talking about a place where, you know, many of the rescuers on the first few days, they had to basically search by helicopter. They couldn't get on the ground because the ground was just too unstable. And here in the Pacific Northwest, Mike, and I can tell you from experience from working here as a reporter in this market, I've covered many mudslides. You're talking about basically a collection of sediment, big boulders, small rocks, pebbles, these things that are very porous when you get a lot